Well, welcome to this episode of Live from the Black House. Are we surprised to see me today? Yes, it's Saturday.
Yes.
You know, it is election season. We have a big primary that's coming up in a few weeks. I cannot wait for this election to be over. I'm dressed a little casual today. Winter white, anyone? I may do this a little more often. I think I look cute in this sweater. Very special guest today. So excited. La Congressista. La Congressista. Yes, let me tell you something. Our guest today is a real one. Okay. I first worked, I'll say, with her when I worked for Texas Organizing Project. And we endorsed her for state senate, and she won. And she did amazing stuff in the state senate. And then was she the first Latina in the state senate? No,
Not in from the Houston area yet.
from the Houston area.
From the
We'll just
Houston
go with
area.
it. The first Latina in the state senate. And then the opportunity came to run for Congress. And she's our current Congresswoman. So, y'all know how I do it. Y'all know how we do this. We do this every Wednesday. To my right, your left, the Honorable Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia. Welcome to the Black House.
Well, thank you so much. I think I feel more comfortable in the Black House than I would if I was at the White House.
Listen,
right now.
we all would. What is going on at the White House, Congresswoman?
Well, some of the things that are coming out of that White House, especially the Donald Trump social media account, like that horrible
yes.
video, just such disrespect to a
Yes.
former president and former
Yes.
first lady.
Absolutely.
I know that if somebody were to do that to him,
Yes.
well, he wouldn't turn orange because he already is. He would turn red.
There you go.
And then all the MAGAs would get out there
Right.
and start
Yes.
ranting and raving. I mean, it is just despicable.
It is.
Despicable. And, they left it out, 12, 14 hours too long. It should have
Yes.
come down immediately. Once a real adult in the room saw
Yes.
it should have just come down.
Should have come down. But that just kind of shows you what's going on. I look at the social media account of the White House, and I'll be like scrolling Facebook, and I'll see something like, I think the one that takes the cake, even I think a little more shocking than what we saw with this most recent video, was when they had Trump getting off Air Force One, and they were playing Usher's "Daddy's Home," the song in the background. I'm like, is this real life? Is this what we're doing? And so all of that is going on. You have all this stuff at the White House. I gotta ask you, what is it like being a member of Congress? Like, because this is not your first foray into politics. You were first a judge, and then you were city controller. See, I messed it up. I thought you were city council member before controller, but you were city controller. Then you were in the state, you were in the county commission, and then state senate, and now you're in Congress. So you kind of have like a view of how government works together in different parts. But I want to start with, what is it like when you find out that you won? When did you know that you won and you were going to be a member of Congress?
Well, it was election night, and it was kind of late because, just we always have to refresh, trying to get those results out of the county. So it was past midnight because my friend Veronica Escobar had already asked about it, and they're in a different. Who was in El Paso. She's the second Latina that also got elected that night. But because of the time zone thing, we were just checking with each other. And I don't think I heard till like maybe 10 or 11 that night that I had won. And it was a great victory. Victory.
And so for those of us there's a lot of politicos that watch. I'm going to acknowledge a few of the people that are in the room. Usually we have Tara Taylor, normally have Kathy Bluford Daniels. I mean, these are like precinct chairs. These are people who, speaking of precinct chairs,
make it work.
They make it work. And speaking of precinct chairs,
we have one with us.
We have one with us.
Yes, ma'am.
And I say this every week, right?
Mm-hmm.
y'all can't see it, but to my left, y'all's right. Hopefully she has her phone. Is your phone on mute? And she's very pretty today. Not that she's not always pretty, but she's spectacularly. I think, Miss Charlene, this sweater thing, we're going to do this a little more often. And I like this on you. My left, y'all's right. The one and only, the honorable, right? Because you're elected.
I am
Charlene
elected.
Jones.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to the Black House.
Thank you. And on the ballot, the last race on the ballot in 136, I am running it. I have an opponent. This will be my third term.
Is it the same person? Or they put somebody up against
I
you?
don't know what they did.
I know what they did, but I'm not going to talk about it. Back to the Congress.
We can talk about it.
It
might be more fun to talk about somebody else's race.
Because this is what they do sometimes. Sometimes, if you make certain people mad, they'll find an opponent and put it in your race. Even for precinct chair. Precinct chair, they will find someone. They will recruit a candidate to run for precinct chair. But back to and I do want to take this point of privilege to point out, y'all, we've had a future member of Congress on the thing, right?
Yeah.
And we've had, city councilmen, blah, 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 state reps. We have a sitting member of Congress on the Black House. So thank you, Congresswoman, for shooting up my stock prices.
Well, and for me, it's just a treat to come and visit with you this afternoon. And you're right, you look good in the white sweater.
Thank you.
Not everybody
Yes.
can pull off a winter white.
Yes. Winter white.
And even the ladies, we're sometimes not sure when we're supposed to wear the winter white,
Mhm.
but you
Good.
pull it off well, and I'm happy to be here. And you should know that Top endorsed me again this year.
Top endorsed again.
Yeah,
Okay.
they endorsed me, and they're in full support. It's a number of other groups, but you're well trained.
Good. So I know TX29 did this thing, so it moved a bit.
No, we didn't. Greg Abbott and Donald Trump did it too. District 29.
Well,
It was none of our doing.
That's that. Listen, that's how a
true.
member of Congress answers that question. Absolutely. So Donald Trump, Greg Abbott decide to move the lines all the way around.
Mhm.
And so now your district includes which new parts for those folks that are watching that don't
Well, if you just think of 610
know? Mhm.
Yeah.
north all the way to
610 north.
1960,
Oh,
and then on the
boy.
right hand side, the Bush Airport,
1960.
and then on the
What?
left hand side, Acres Home and Independence Heights, and the little sliver of Spring Branch. None of the traditional Latino neighborhoods that I've always represented. Because
Mhm.
remember, this was created as a Latino
Yes.
opportunity district,
Yeah.
much like 18 and 9 were
Yeah.
Mhm.
Black opportunity
Mhm.
districts.
Mhm.
But their goal was to destroy those districts.
Yeah. Yeah.
All three of us, 9, 18, and 29, were on the original target list, claiming that our districts were put together based on race and that they needed to be dismantled.
Mm.
So mine got cut up into 4 pieces, and I lost 30%, and I got 70% you.
Mhm.
I told a few people, I mean, if you're going to give me 70%, well, what the hell? Just give me 100% you. I mean, that
Mhm.
might be easier
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
do it that way,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you almost did it that way.
Right.
And now what they did was pretty much take his all the way from him and paired him with 18.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was intentional.
Mhm.
Yes,
That
it
was
was.
intentional. It
Yes.
was targeted. It was
It's horrible.
intentional.
Absolutely.
And as the Chronicle pointed out, I'm sure it had nothing to do that I was an impeachment manager and that Al Green has the impeachment
Mm.
resolution.
Mm.
Our president doesn't believe in retribution.
Mm.
Mhm.
That is true. And so now a large chunk of your district is Black.
That's correct.
So a lot of folks will want to know, what has Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia done specifically when it comes to the Black community?
Right. Well, it's still a population of Latinos. Okay, it's still like almost 60% population. So what's black is the voter population, and it makes it more what they consider a coalition district. So the voter population is like 35% Latino, about 31 African American, and 27, 28 white. So it's a coalition district. And, I'm just working it hard. I mean, I've been a coalition builder from day one. I mean, I wouldn't have been elected city controller back in the 80s with only 20% of the Latino vote. I mean, I won citywide. And I represented all that area during that time. Now, there's a little bit of it that's unincorporated, but most of it is within city of Houston. And so I'll just continue doing what I've always done, is work hard and work on healthcare, cut prices, make sure our seniors are taken care of, our veterans, and to fight Donald Trump, especially right now with just the cruelty and the violence that's going on in the streets, especially in Minneapolis.
Absolutely. So you did a lot of work around what is it? Not only infant mortality, but could you tell us a little bit about that? You apparently put some work into legislation around what is it? Maternal health?
Maternal health. Well, yes, because a lot of our, especially our minority populations for women, black and brown women, more so with blacks. I mean, it is shameful that our infant mortality rate, the woman's mortality, especially during the pregnancy, is some countries around the world that have less access to health care than we do are doing a better job. I tried to pass a bill when I was in the Senate to extend Medicaid past, they provide Medicaid right before you have the child, but then you have the baby and then they cut you off unless you qualify. So you should be able to have the postpartum coverage. You should be able to have other coverage, because it's about the mother's well-being. It's not just about making sure that the baby is born safely. It's about the baby and the mother.
Yes.
And we seem to forget that. So we need to work on that. And I've worked with in Congress. There's one of the members who's a former nurse, and she takes the lead on these issues. But certainly I join them as much as I can.
Absolutely. So I'm really curious. You win your election. For those that are just curious, because I mean, there are a lot of politicals. Like, we love stuff like this. So you win. Do you get like a phone call from like the speaker? Like, who's calling you, congratulating you?
Well, almost immediately you get. I'm sure Kristen went through the same thing. I mean, you get a phone call. Well, I got mine from Nancy Pelosi to congratulate me and make sure she knew that they were going to be there to help me and, walk me through and get me adjusted, et cetera. I got a call from Steny Hoyer, who was then the whip. And, I got a call from, who was the president? I guess it was Obama. And, you start getting calls from people around the country. I think I got a call from Elizabeth Warren, from different senators. It's all the would-be presidential start calling you because you're the new member and they want your support. They know Texas is important. Even though we're a red state, Texas is still very important in the
primary.
In the
because
primary,
it's a huge
the party
line share.
Hillary called. I mean, people called.
Wow. Did you ever? When did it? Because to run for Congress is a big deal. When did it actually settle for you? I asked Tiffany Thomas this, and she said when they called her name at the theater, and she walked across the stage with her grandmother, I think it was. That's when it hit for her. When did it hit for you?
I think that's when it hits. Is when you're there to take the oath, because until then you're just the Congresswoman elect. I mean, even everything I did in between, they even give you cards, business cards, to say Congresswoman elect. And really, they print them up. If I know you were going to ask me, I would brought one to show it to you, because I still have a lot of mine. I mean, I don't go around passing too many cards, right? And they give you a stack of cards so that you can start giving your new number, and they start the process of orientation.
Do you have an office already? Like when you get to
No, we draw. Actually, you draw for offices
Okay.
once you go through orientation because
Oh.
based on who's left, it's all done by seniority. Then the most senior member can say, well, you know, so and so left, so that office is vacant. I want that office. So they take that office, then that office gets added to the list, and then
Okay.
it just goes through. And then for us, when we get there, there's a list with a map showing you where each office is. They ask you to review it, and then you draw lots. I forget what number I was because we were like 30 something new members.
Wow.
I was kind of like in the middle.
Okay.
Everybody wants to get like number one so they can be the first one to choose, right?
Mhm.
I frankly didn't care. I told my chief of staff, I said, look, what's important to me is that the employees have enough room to work. As long as I have a work table and a place to just put my laptop, I don't care. Don't worry about my space. Worry about the working space and the entry area, because I want to make sure when people walk in, they can be comfortable.
Absolutely.
And they said, are you sure you don't want to tour them? I said, nope, don't care. I said, and remember, I don't even want a desk. I've never had a desk. I just have a work table. I said, just stick a work table somewhere. And you know, I'll have my little iPad and I have my phone. That's all I need.
And then folks come in and they meet with you, and you're always able to work with the people that are coming, staff, constituents, isn't it? What's the most shocking thing about being a member of Congress that you didn't expect from before? Because you were elected before, so you were approximate to.
Well, I'll share a story with you because you're a good storyteller. You know, the one thing that really surprised me was because there's all this talk about working on being bipartisan, and we do. You know, we do talk to each other, especially when it comes to issues for the Port of Houston. You know, the University of Houston, the Ship Channel, the medical center for NASA. All of his work as a region, and sometimes even as a state, because Houston is such a large region that what we do is a generator for the rest of the state. So, and some of these we try to work letters and resolutions that we all do together. And it was that way in the Senate. I mean, you know, we knew where Dewhurst and where what's his name? Perry and all them were. And we had our own caucus. But we were all on the floor together. You know, there wasn't the Republicans on the right and the Democrats on the left. It was all of us mixed. When we sat in the hearing room, it was all done by seniority. So I could have a Republican right next to me or a Democrat. And in the lounge, when we sit down to eat, it was all the senators in one room. You know, again, there wasn't a Democrat lounge and a separate Republican lounge. And then in the Senate, I was just stunned. I mean, in the Congress, I was just stunned that everything is divided by the Republican or Democrat. And you know, when I realized it was the first week. I had gone to some meeting at the Capitol on the floor, and then I had to go back to the office. So I had to text somebody to call because I was lost. I just couldn't figure out how to get back. I mean, it takes a while to get used to. You know that. You've worked the halls.
Yes.
So I called and I said, I need help. And they said, well, where are you? I said, well, I'm right at the door when you walk in to vote. And I was asked, well, are you at the Republican door or the Democratic door? And I was like, I'm at the door. I mean, right here by the floor.
Wow.
And then once I described it, they said, oh, yeah, well, you're at the Republican door. No wonder you're lost. You need to go back. And they gave me directions because.
That is insane.
Well, and the floor is that way. All the Republicans sit on the left. If you're looking at the floor, the Democrats, the Republicans sit on the right and the Democrats sit on the left. And if one of the Republicans is seen on our side talking, I mean, and they wouldn't dare sit with us. And same thing the other way around.
Wow.
And we don't go to each other's cloakroom. Like, I don't know what they serve at their end. I mean, maybe they have hamburgers and we don't. Because that's one of my things is that there's just cold sandwiches. But
you don't like cold sandwiches either?
No, I don't mind them. But
I don't like them.
once in a while, you want a hot meal.
Let me tell you, all of these, because I have a nonprofit too, all these meetings, okay? And I want to make a clarion call, okay? I'm tired of going to meetings and there are lunch boxes, okay? And I will say, you have folks that say, they ask, what are your food restrictions, Congresswoman? They say, what are your food restrictions? And people are like, oh, I'm vegetarian. Oh, I'm vegan. Oh, I'm gluten-free. Let me tell you something. They order these boxes for these people. They order a box of cheese pizza for the vegetarians, right? A whole box. And then they don't even end up eating the pizza. We could have had several meat lovers pizzas.
Well, just for the record, I have a lot of food restrictions. But what they get from me, I will eat. But most of the time they make mistakes and I end up having to pick on my food. So that's my pet peeve.
Okay.
But anyway, the committee hearings, same thing. Democrats sit on one side, Republicans sit on the side. So on the floor, for eating, for sitting. So it's like, how are you really going to work on people working together if you divide them up? That to me was shocking. And the other thing that really I still don't like, and I know it, Hakeem Jeffries is probably going to go like, why did she go on air and tell all these stories? But the other thing I don't like is we don't have assigned seating.
There's no assigned seating in Congress.
It's a free for all. I mean, I could go in there and put my stuff down, and I'll come back and somebody sits on my stuff. Sitting in my chair. Now it doesn't happen that much anymore because if you look at where we sit, Maxine Waters sits in the front row aisle seat,
almost like church.
Yeah, and I sit right next to her. And
what is she really like?
If she gets there first, she saves me a seat. If I get there first, I save her. And now, and it's like, it's great because nobody messes with Maxine.
Right.
So that helps protect my seat.
What is she really? Let me tell you, Auntie Maxine, I love. And
well, you might have a chance to see her. She may be coming down to help me campaign.
Ooh. You get her on the Black House.
That is a shot across the bow.
That is a sneak preview. Okay?
Listen, if you happen to be, hey.
So stay tuned.
Yes, that would be.
You heard it here first, though.
Yes, that would be amazing.
I'll make sure we put you on the list. And please wear this white sweater too. She'll love it.
Listen, I am fanning out over here, y'all. But when she really caught fire with the millennials, with the matter of fact, I think there was the one time that she came out and she was like, the FBI director, what did she say? The FBI director is, what's the word that she used? We can't trust him. He's a non-factor. Then there was I'm protecting my time. Wait, what is it? I'm reclaiming my time. I'm reclaiming my time. Yeah. And then there was the one with, I forget which secretary it was, where she was the chair of the meeting. And she was basically like, do not tell me how to run my meeting. I was like, whoa.
See,
remember that?
I'm in that committee with her. And it was like, we could just feel it in the room.
She was like, if you would like to leave, you may go.
But you have to remember, he was so disrespectful to her. All of us were outraged.
Yes.
All of us were outraged. He deserved that.
Yes.
And this last week, we went through it again with Secretary Bassett, and Fox News had her telling Bassett to shut up, but that's not what she did. She was telling the chair to make him shut up because the chair was not calling order. They were just
They just kind of let them do their. They just kind of let them do their
because
thing.
he did the same thing. He did the same thing to me, and my clip was sent out by, I forgot who it was, some group, and it went viral because he said something to me, and I said, "No, you were not going to demean me," because he had been doing that to everybody.
Yes,
and I just cut him off.
Yes, it's that really.
No, Maxine is great.
Oh, she is. She is, and
I sit next to her every single day, front row, and I can tell you, I learned something every day from that front row.
Oh,
maybe I start a podcast and I'll call it Front Row.
Yes,
since you've got White House, I'll have Front Row.
Yes, Front Row. I love it. And so, going back to what you said about when you were in the Texas Senate, so I worked one legislative session with State Rep Alma Allen.
She's great.
She's great. She's retiring.
She's retiring.
Mhm.
Boy, she's given a lot of
She
time
has given
and talent and service to our community.
yes. Let me
And steady, consistent,
Yes.
passionate,
Yes.
and you ain't going to change your mind.
You're not going to change your mind. And she, the session that I worked, because you don't go home until the boss goes home. So there'll be days when like,
will you repeat that so my staff could hear it?
yeah, you don't go home until the boss goes home. I mean, there were times when it was like, well, our committee is over. Like, I'm good. No, she's on the floor. She's in committee. You are here. And so there would be days when, I was dragging Congresswoman. I was like, what are they doing? What are these doing? And she would come in, yoo-hoo, she was energized. It was wild, but similar to what you said, that session, it was 101 to 49. It was 101 Republicans and there were 49 Democrats. And I was so excited. I got the rules of the Texas House and I was in my room, like reading all the rules and they just did whatever they want. They would I make a motion to suspend all necessary rules. I'm like, wait a minute, where's that? What are we doing? But on our hall, it's like the staffers worked like those were there was our office, but those are also my colleagues. Like they knew where the lunches were. They knew don't go over there. They got sandwiches over there. Or, they have this place over, and it made the work easier because I had just quit my job. I had worked for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. I was a CO, a sergeant, and a lieutenant. So my little specialty was I knew how prisons worked. So they would do this legislation and this and that, and these people with these degrees would come in, and I'd be like, psst, here's why that wouldn't work. And I would give like the operational side of things. So that kind of grew. And even though there were certain things that were just horrible that I just couldn't see how, why they would see this way. To have a human being who's a staffer to say, well, here's why. Even when I didn't agree, it made me say, oh, okay, so this is where they're coming from.
Well, I remember that when we had that huge discussion, and I'm not sure, I don't think they've done anything yet about air conditioning the prisoners. It was the jails. And it was like the attitude of so many people was, well, why do we care? They're in prison.
Yeah.
It's just really hard to penetrate.
It is.
And it's kind of like, the conditions at some of the detention centers that I see that run by ICE, and you talk about the deplorable conditions. It's like, well, it doesn't matter. They're just immigrants. It's like, no, they're still human beings.
Absolutely.
We still have to have a level of compassion and respect and dignity for the person.
Absolutely.
It's just it's unconscionable what people do.
Yes. Congresswoman, I look at the books that we read in high school, 1984, Animal Farm, we're living it. Like there are times that I turn on the news and I'm like, wait, like even the Trump knocking over the East Wing. So in Detroit, I flip houses, right?
And now he's going after the Kennedy Center.
It's insane.
First to name it after him, right?
First he names it after him. He's got no authority to do that. It's up to the board. It's up to Congress because we fund it. And now everybody's canceling. Nobody wants to go there. Then he says, well, okay, well, we're going to close it. And once again, he says they're going to spend $200 million. It's like, where are you getting the money from, dude?
I remember,
he just spends. They criticize, Biden for being free spending. He's got to be the most free spending. He treats the Treasury like his own ATM, and that he can do whatever he wants to because he's got all this money. It's not his money,
right?
It's our taxpayer money. We're allowing him to just do whatever he wants.
They're afraid of him,
and that's what I say to a lot of folks who I really used to respect as Republicans, right? We didn't have to agree, but it was like, you think this way, I think that way. I look now and I'm like, anyone that looks at this and says it's okay, it's hard to have lunch sometimes. You know what I mean? Like how are we gonna, if we can't agree on those things? And then I look at it's little things like to see the colonnade at the White House, those pictures. I'm like, can he do that? I flipped houses, Congresswoman, in Detroit. Okay. You try to put a roof on a house. You go over there with some shingles. You try to put siding on your house without this permit before that.
This inspection,
there's
that permit,
yeah.
this and this, and they come along the way. I mean,
Yes.
all city governments do that. To me, it's just absolutely baffles me that he found somebody that would come and just with a wrecking ball and do it.
Tear up these
That
wings.
even a contractor wouldn't think, oh, wait a minute, that job sounds kind of
That-
interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe I should call the local paper and see if this is allowed, or
Yeah.
should I call a lawyer because then I'm going to be held liable?
Yes.
No, he found someone, but a con man can probably find another con man.
That's true.
You
That
know?
is true.
Yeah.
And it was, to me, how did someone just come and say, okay, and come do it
And tear it
without
up, tear
checking
it
with
down.
anybody?
And I'm looking at it,
In
and
the
I'm
dead
like,
of night. I mean, they just went in there and did it. No one knew.
and then they're like, "Oh, there's a lawsuit," and I'm like, "What?" I mean, they can't bring
it back.
Bring it back.
It's
It's
over
like,
it.
and so, I mean, we're heading into the primary, and this is really confusing for people. Miss Charlene was just talking about it. She had over how many people?
Over 100 people that we turned away because they thought they could vote for Christian and Amanda, and they couldn't because they're in Al Green's district.
Yeah.
And they're confused.
Yes.
And that happened all over the city. It wasn't
Mhm.
just, all over CD 18.
Mhm.
It's just horrible.
And so now Trump and Abbott have shuffled the deck. Like, even so, I live on Alameda across the street from Herman Park. And I usually vote at Judson Robinson. And when I vote early, I can vote there all the time. I just walk right over there. Well, I went to vote on election day, and oh, that's technically the old CD9 across the street. So then I'm like, oh, luckily, and this is like 6 o'clock. I know, bad me for voting on election day at 6 o'clock, but I'm busy. I run the thing, it's a lot going on. So I'm like, oh man, like now it's 6:17, and I'm in the situation that it's the cautionary tale, the person that waited to the last minute. And so now I'm like going on, Tanisha's site, the clerk's site, and I'm like, right? So I end up going to Match Theater, couldn't find parking. I voted. It is 6:58.
Wow.
My ticket says 7 o'clock.
Wow.
And I'm kind of in the know, right? So like I knew there was an election, knew where my normal.
Hello, you worked at the party.
Yeah, right.
Hello.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So imagine the person who is not sure if they're in 29 or 18.
Well,
or,
and that's by design. That's by design. They
Mhm.
wanted to confuse us.
Mhm.
And
They
in
did.
some neighborhoods, they wanted to pit black and brown against
Yes.
each other.
yes.
In some areas, they wanted to, just pit some of us against each other.
Yes.
The way our districts were cut up, some,
Mhm.
like Al being paired. And just think of Amanda and Christian. I mean, they just got through with one race last Saturday, but come Sunday morning, they're involved in the race for the primary.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they didn't get any rest. And now we do that
Yeah.
for 2 weeks, and
Right.
there's boom. We start early voting February 17th. And I
Mhm.
tell people, I know you're thinking about your Valentine.
Yes.
But
Yes.
please think
Think
about
about
voting.
voting.
Yes.
Think
Yeah.
about voting.
Yes.
It's 3 days after.
Yes.
And then the primary's the third. It's a sprint.
it's
And
insane.
they're just trying to shove it all
Voter
through
Right.
fatigue.
I
They
think
want
about.
people to
I
to
think.
confuse voters. They want you to get
Mhm.
exasperated and go,
Yes.
well, I ain't going to bother.
I think about
It's
because
voter suppression.
Yeah.
that is actually what it is.
Yes.
Congresswoman. So I was a Christian Menifee supporter. So Christian Menifee wins on, the 31st.
Mhm.
And now he's like getting sworn in on Monday. But then like he has to like prepare to govern, pick, staff and do all of this, find out where the restrooms are, order pens from
Well, there are more men's rooms than women's rooms. I'll
Are
tell you
there
that.
actually?
Are there?
Yeah, yeah.
That's not. Normally we
Well,
have the
because-
majority.
Well, like even my bathroom, it's so cute. There's a little slot in the medicine cabinet, and I thought, what is that for? They
For the
said,
razors.
it's for the razors. So
yeah.
but I didn't know.
Mhm.
That's how male dominated that institution was. That the
Wow.
bathroom has like this little cut,
Yeah.
and
I have
it's
to look for that when I go in March.
yeah, and then
Mhm.
uh,
That is wild. And so
and it's got a coat rack thing inside the bathroom area, and it's
Mhm.
like Do you all do that? You don't take your coats before you go into the
Oh,
bathroom?
you hang it up right there. You just put it up
Well,
there.
see, because I take mine off and put it in the closet.
No.
Like I'll take off my jacket and then just.
You just
and I
go in there and
thought,
just.
That's.
I
okay.
know. I know.
I'm learning how y'all do things.
Yes, exactly. Let me tell you. But
So tell Christian not to worry. There's a lot of men's rooms.
there's a lot of men's rooms, but also like he now has a primary election, and early vote starts on the 17th. So like,
So he had 17 days
He didn't-
after the
but-
first race.
but then the 17 days are spent preparing, but in raising money. Like he had to turn right back around. I'm gonna send a contribution. Christian, you don't have to call. It's coming. It's coming.
Do I have to call you?
You don't have to call. It's coming.
You
It's
opened
coming.
yourself right up for that, didn't
Listen,
you?
Yes, he did.
It's
He did.
coming. It's big, and that's another thing. Y'all have to. You have to raise money because you have to pierce through all of everything that's going on. You know, I was on a call last night for we're doing a fundraiser for a U.S. Senate candidate, and I was, I did 2 sample calls because this is all grassroots people that I'm trying to like show like how to raise money, and some of them already do. Our goal is like 35,000 for this event that is on the 20th, and so I called Tina Kingshill, and she's like, "Oh, I'll give 100." And then I called my mom. My mom was like 200. And so I do the example, and then I'm like, okay, so here's how it works. Here's how I make my list. So like off the top of my head, I make a list. And then like say if I was raising money for Congresswoman Garcia, I would go to her Facebook page. And then I would look at her posts, and it'll show you who's liked and who's commented. And normally it shows you who's in your network first that has liked this. I'll write those names down because those are people that obviously like you, right? So I'm doing all of this, and then I explain I usually like to do call time on Sundays at 3. It's after church. And believe it or not, a lot of people say, like, don't do it then. No, do it then. They'll
Super Bowl.
answer. They'll answer. And that's what somebody said on
Yeah,
the call.
Super
Were you
Bowl.
on the call? But somebody said it.
Super Bowl.
One of the campaign people, one of the campaign staffers' husband was like, the Super Bowl starts at 3 on Sunday. And I'm like, I am so far removed from anything football. Like, I don't even know.
But I do generally agree with you. I do what I call my political calls, like the calls I need to return. I mean, even when I'm not campaigning, just the calls you need to return, and people you need to touch base with. I do them after 3 on Sundays. And I'll tell people when they'll say, when can we do it? Call me Sunday afternoon.
How do you manage? Because I'm not a member of Congress, but it gets out of control, the number of calls to return and like staying on top of things. How do you manage? Because one day you're Sylvia from the block, and then next thing you know, you're Judge Sylvia, and then you're Controller Sylvia, and then you're State Senator Sylvia, and you're slowly like increasing to where I would imagine there's someone who called or texted you who thinks that you went, huh, Sandra, boop. No, you get.
Well, and you first of all, and I think, Kristen, I think got a feel for that this week. The first thing I learned was the hard way because I'm a Virgo.
Me too. What's your birthday?
September 6th.
20th.
20th.
My mom's. The 14th.
I like to know what I'm doing, when I'm doing it. I like to have some order. But I learned really quickly that it wasn't about my calendar. It was about Nancy Pelosi's calendar. Because you could have a calendar of everything you want to do that day. But if an emergency meeting comes up or a caucus meeting comes up or votes are called, then everything is off the books and you've got to do that. And people, and it takes a while for someone to get adjusted to that because you feel like you've got to do X, but you're getting pulled in another direction. And for us, it's always, votes are the biggest priority, and then the committee hearings, and then the subcommittee hearings, and then the caucuses. But we do set, of course, time for people that come through. And sometimes it's hard because a constituent may come in, but I'm not there.
Right.
I'm at a committee hearing, I'm at a caucus meeting. So when we can, we do have them come depending on what the hearing is, and whether or not I can leave. So then we'll meet them in the hallway and say hello, but we can't really have a meeting. So we're juggling it all the time. And
Mhm.
if you're on the ballot, you also have to juggle time to figure out when you can do call time or return political
Ah,
calls.
yes.
And that was another a real you know, learner for me, was that, you know, Congress is just 2 years. It's not like the
Mm.
state senate when it was 4, or commissioner when it was 4, city controller that was 4. It's
Mm.
every 2 years. So you're governing, but also having to campaign
'Cause
almost
somebody's in the
all
rear.
Continuously.
almost all the time, because
Mhm.
if you don't, you're a precinct judge, you know this, because if not, just like you got an opponent because
Yeah.
somebody decided they're going to run somebody
Mhm.
against you, same
Uh-huh.
thing in our
Mhm.
business.
And so you're
So
juggling.
you're it's a constant juggle, and you have to depend on staff to help you with it, because you can't do it alone. You can't read everything. You can't return
Mhm.
every call. You just
Mhm.
can't physically. It's just there's not enough time.
What do you do when you're not, like, working? And I would imagine, I mean, it's just astronomical. I ran for state rep in Michigan, and I've worked on campaigns. So I've been next to the person doing the thing. So
Right.
I thought I knew what the thing looked like, but then it was like, oh my gosh, this is it. Um, like trying to balance it all, trying to like understand that your anonymity is gone. Like you can't just go to HEB in your house shoes. You know what I mean?
Well, I wouldn't go in my shoes,
But I'm just saying,
but you just can't.
you just can't, because everyone knows who you are, but you don't know
Who
you, like
they
your
are.
anonymity is gone. Like you're
Well,
not an invisible
that's
person
one
anymore.
thing, is you do have to accept it, you know. And I have some colleagues, and I've seen people who seem to be bothered that they're bothered, and it's
Mm,
like, you know, you may have
mhm.
signed up for the wrong
The wrong thing.
the wrong gig, because you've got to accept that you put yourself out there in public. Well, then you're going to have public scrutiny, whether they laugh that you're wearing house shoes at HEB, or they
Mhm.
see you at church with the wrong hat matching the wrong shoes. I mean,
Mhm.
whatever it is,
Mhm.
but people are going to be there because they see
That's
you.
just the way it works.
And sometimes, you know, you could be grocery shopping trying to find the right avocado,
Yeah.
but they're coming over there to ask you about the tariffs and why do we have them, and fight you
Right.
about it, and you're like, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
It was Trump, and we're trying to fight them, and you're
Yeah.
right. And this actually happens. I says, well, that means this avocado now is going to be $2 or $3. I said, yes, ma'am. Unfortunately, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of, first of all, Congresswoman, they're going wild in the comments. Okay.
They're
They're
going
just,
wild. Good.
people are like, so Daryl Jordan, Celine Verhofstadt, Aunt Catrice, Tara Taylor says, Sylvia, uh, Carisha Rogers says, oh my God, what? Yes, you missed out, Carisha. I didn't tell you who it was going to be, but you would have been right there. You would have been right there. I didn't even tell. Katrina Rhodes sends hearts. Tara Taylor says, we love Auntie, Deja Anson, Dolores Lozano, Chris Watson. Let's see. Ed Pettit says, looking forward to working with Sylvia and Kirk to make James Boot Park a signature downtown park. Let me tell you something. Ed Pettit is where it's at too. Yes, sorry, I can't acknowledge everyone, right? I just picked up my faves.
Well, hello everybody.
and
I'm having a lot of fun. Even if he doesn't invite me, I'm going to drop by.
And I will say, and y'all can't see him, okay? But the one and only Jeff Siptak is sitting right there. So Carisha, eat your heart out, okay? Antonio Maldonado, yeah, y'all effed up. You effed up. You didn't show up, right? So next time you'll show up. But no, I mean it's so cool to have you here. Do you remember that state senate race? I remember the state senate race. Which was the biggest like step? Would it be as controller, right? Like the stretch that you had to do. Was it state senate? Or was it Congress? Or was it running a
I
commissioner?
think for me, one of the big ones was county commissioners,
Mm,
because for so long, county commissioners were just so we're going to be blunt, right?
Mhm,
We're
mhm.
okay to be blunt.
Yes, please.
Was just so white male
Yes.
dominated.
Oh, I thought you was
it
going. I thought you was really finna go in because
That's what
let
you're
me
gonna
tell you,
say.
she asked for
Well,
permission. I'm like, hey, warm it up.
it was like it was sort of like the last bastion of the white male country club.
Yes.
And it took a lot before Franco got elected. Remember,
Yes. I remember.
Franco's the one who broke the barrier down there.
Yes.
But before that, it was just, and it was also very conservative,
Mm-hmm.
and it was also Republican.
Yes.
Although we did have some Democrats along the way, and it just took a while to get in there. And we'd never elected a woman. We'd never elected a Latino.
Wow.
And it took so much until we elected Franco.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of just stayed. And then we had
Mhm.
to find the right opportunity. So when I ran for that seat, it wasn't a Latino seat. Again, it's about building coalitions. It wasn't even a Democratic seat. It was like a 50-50 seat. And I'll never forget Mario Gallegos, may he rest in peace, visited with us and said, this is our shot. It's more Latino than it's ever been. It's still 50-50 and it's still 50-50 Democrat, but we need someone who could be strong and win. And we sat around the table and said who could do it. And because I had West City Controller, I had and I hadn't had an opponent 2 terms. I had saved the money, so I had a campaign account. And everybody said, well, Sylvia's the only one who's got money in the bank.
Yeah.
And Sylvia's the only one that's got a more name ID because she's run citywide in one.
Yeah.
So we went through it and decided,
That it'll be you.
that it would be me. Well, of course, I still had primary opponents. I had 5 primary opponents. No, that was county attorney. I had 1 or 2 in commissioners. So it was like the one where we really had to stretch. And I had to really think about whether or not I even wanted to do it because I was in city government and I had never thought about running for the county seat. But then, friends like Franco and Rodney and others, so you need to do it. We need more minorities down there. So I decided to do it. And then I was the first woman elected. We'd had 2 other women there that had been appointed to fill one her husband's seat and one to fill a vacancy. I don't know if y'all remember Squatty Lyons way back. He was there a long time. When he died, they appointed a woman to finish his term. But I think that one's the one that really stretched me because I had to go from the city to East Harris County, and it included like 10 other cities.
Wow.
It wasn't just Houston, which was my base. It was Baytown and Pasadena and Galena Park and Jacinto City. So that is where I really had to stretch. And a lot of those people just really didn't like me. They saw me as a Houston girl and that I wasn't going to do anything for them. It had nothing to do with being a woman, had nothing to do with being Latina. They just didn't think that I would care about them because I was from Houston.
I noticed that when I worked in one session at the Ledge, they call it the county of the kingdom of Harris. It's like, what? Like people would literally, even with staff, like, yeah, I'm from Houston. They just kind of like, and it's like, whoa, we didn't even know. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when like your dad's the principal or something, and you're like, hey, I'm enrolled here just like you. I don't know, but no, that is kind of a thing where
it's
people
a stretch there. There's a lot of feeling and I know like at the Harris County. Remember Harris County Galveston Area Council? Wasn't there a vote to get the city out of that because a lot of the smaller cities think that all the money and all the projects go to the city. So there's always it took me a lot more to have to overcome that perception than anything else.
Wow. So you're a Houston gal. Where are some of your favorite places to eat? And this goes for you too, Miss Charlene. I'm gonna go first.
Okay. What food? What?
Any, but I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna say any food.
Any food.
I'm gonna tell you of recent. I had sushi before I came here. There's a sushi place right down, and that's I didn't have time to go home and change because I would have had a blazer on too. But I'm a fan of El Tiempo, the one on Westheimer. Not because of the food. To me, the drinks make the food taste good. After 3 margaritas, anything tastes good. So El Tiempo, I'm going to go The Breakfast Club, which is Marcus Davis's spot. I love to hear Miss Mary. She usually works the door and hear her shoot the
Yeah.
stuff. What about you, Miss Charlene? Where
I
are your
like Mickey's Cafe. Mickey's
new one?
Cafe. Mickey.
The new one that's on a
No, they used to have one on Belford, but I
okay.
haven't been in a
Now
while.
that one used to be good.
Yeah, that was I like the
Mhm.
chitlins every New Year's. I was trying to get
I've never
chitlins.
been a chitlin person.
Yeah,
but
I like
okay.
chitlins, and I like that. I like Olive Garden. Actually, their soup and salad deal.
We gonna let you make it with that one, Miss Charlene.
I love their soup and salad. I can eat out
They
for
got
a
those
couple
canned
days.
raviolis back there. But how about you, Congresswoman?
Well, if I want to just go relax and just have a good meal, I like the Barbecue Inn. I'm a fried chicken fan,
Okay.
and
okay.
they really make good fried chicken.
Mhm.
And I'm a it's the only fried food that I really eat.
Mhm.
And they've made the top list or the top
Okay.
10 list in Texas,
Okay.
and I agree because it's
Okay.
nice and crusty on the outside and really soft and tender on the
On the inside.
inside. And
I
it's the Barbecue Inn. I know they have barbecue. I just have never
I
had their
never had
barbecue.
it. Yeah. I
Uh,
used to live, and Tara Taylor did too. We used to live down the street from Ninfa's. Ninfa's used to be, and those of y'all that are on Facebook, you know, I used to go to Ninfa's all the time. And I'm going to let y'all in on a secret. So the bartender, the head bar, like the bar manager, I forget his name. He was an older guy, but he was sober. So he wouldn't drink, but he made the best drinks. And I hung in there so much. Like if you ordered a margarita, salt around the rim, or no salt, but they put salt, or they messed up your drink, he would just slide it over to me.
yeah. My favorite used to be like all time was Churrasco's, but they've closed, and it was such a
Yeah.
tragedy because
Yeah.
they made really great steaks.
Yeah.
I like a really good steak. So
Yes.
now I go to Vic and Anthony's or
Yes.
one of the other steakhouses because remember I have a list of all my food allergies. For example, I'm allergic to lettuce. I can't
You
have a
can't
soup
have
and
the
salad
lettuce.
unless it's spinach salad, or like last night I had
Yeah.
the tomato and avocado with feta
Mhm.
cheese kind of salad.
Mhm.
So it's hard for me to go to some restaurants. Like I'm allergic to soy, so I really just stay away
Wow.
from most Asian restaurants because
They
they
use soy in
cook
everything.
with soy oil. They
Mhm.
cook. I had that problem
Mhm.
in Japan.
Wow.
I mean,
Mm.
talk about sushi. That's where, but they put soy sauce on everything.
On everything.
So when we went, we would have to really deal with them on what I could or couldn't eat. So
Wow, that is so cool. How do you now? I know.
to actually make my own lunch.
Really?
Most of the members are like, "Do you have your lunch?" I would, yeah, because
What? You make your lunch?
I have to.
Like
Wow.
at a
I mean,
restaurant.
I will find out if I'm going to a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
We try to find out what they're going to serve,
Mm-hmm.
what's in that lunchbox.
Yeah.
Because if there's nothing that I could eat, then I just take my own lunch. So I
Mm.
always look at the calendar the night before. So I make chicken salad, tuna salad, or sometimes just a ham and cheese sandwich.
I remember when I was running, there were several times this happened. I would just wake up and I knew I was going to a pastor's breakfast, right? But then you get there and there's like coffee. And I'm like, I thought there would be food, right? And then you go to this other thing, and then you go to this such and such luncheon, right? But then by the time we get there, come to find out they just had some pinwheels and some chips
Light
and dip.
bites.
And so now it's 1:00. I haven't eaten yet, right? And then eventually
I don't
it's
think
like
you should ever run for Congress. We never know when we're going to have
like,
lunch.
what? And then no, I'm big on it. I am big. I was like, we can stop this now, right? Y'all want me to speak at the forum? I need a 2-piece. Popeyes is around the corner.
Mhm.
Let me eat something. But a lot of that's why members of Congress, mayors, et cetera, have people that are like, you do that, I'll do this. So that's like really important. What would you say to folks that are out there
Mhm.
that are like, I want to get into politics. I want to be a staffer. I one day want to run for office. I don't know where to start. Give us some La Congresista wisdom.
Well, I think if you want to serve in any capacity, thank you. Especially, I always thank young people for thinking about
I'm
public
40,
service.
Congresswoman. I'm 40.
Well, your listeners.
Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go.
I'm being gentle. Uh, you know, because it's so hard. So many of our young people are disenchanted.
True.
That for me, like we were interviewing the applications for our Service Academy nominations. That is one thing I really like doing is going through, and I like talking to the students myself and helping pick who we're going to nominate for the West Point or Naval Academy. And it's just great. And I thank them for wanting to serve because it's just so important to give back. I grew up poor in South Texas. I'm one of 10 children, but my mother always taught us that no matter how poor we were, there was someone else who was poor. So we handed down the clothes, and then when we were done, we put them in a box and someone else would get them. We would always give back, either at church or at school. So it's so important. And you can start with any project, even just in your own high school. Get involved in one of your clubs and when they do a community service project, get engaged with that and see how you feel about it, and see if you're getting anything out of it. Go look at and touch people outside your comfort zone. And then if you like it, then join your club that is politically involved, whether it's the Democratic club or the Republican club or there's some groups that what is it called, Up Close, where they actually take you to Washington. There's always groups within your school network, and if there isn't, talk to your counselor and ask them. I want to get more involved. What can I do? Can I go to Boys State or Girl State? Can I do the shadowing program with Girl Scouts? The foster home programs also have like foster children that are teenagers and young adults that are assigned to congressional offices. There's opportunities where you can actually go and be a part of it. In most offices, we've got 3 interns in the Washington office, I think 2 in the local office. And when it's a Girl Scouts about a shadowing program, we say yes. It's a foster program, they want to send a foster kid, we say yes. It's about opportunities. So seek those out, talk to your counselor, or go to our web pages, whoever your member of Congress is, and they list what internships they have. And that's how you get started.
Good.
And of course, volunteer for a campaign.
Yes.
And there are so many going on right now for judge, for the county positions, state positions, for governor, for Congress, and just volunteer. And even if you've never done it before, someone will be there to welcome you and train you. And that's how you got started. That's how I got started. It's just doing volunteer work.
And then someone noticed, and then you just got more and more responsibility and opportunity.
I started in college. I volunteered for Sissy Farenthold for governor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Sissy Farenthold.
Yes. Well, Congresswoman, I'll say this. I volunteer. I raise my hand to put something together for you with the people between now and the 3rd. Sooner the better, but I also want to make sure like it's good with some heavy hitters. I mean, these are people who, that's number 1. Number 2, I will say, people like you that are down to earth, that are cool, right? We need more people like you in Congress. And then I'll say, in closing, what do you have to say for the folks? You have a big election. Folks can start voting February the 17th, which was confusing for me because I've been saying the 16th because it usually starts on a Monday.
It's the 17th.
But it's which holiday is it?
President's Day.
President's Day.
Government.
And so folks can begin voting for you. If you don't know which district you're in, and I reached out to folks at Rice. And I reached out to folks at, I forget where else. One was a funder and one was an academic institution. It was Rice. And I was like, we need a bot. And people can go to www.txcongress.org and they could put in their address. And it would say, you used to be in this, like for mine, it would say, you were in 18 and you're now in 18. Because it really is confusing for folks. My organization, Houston Justice, we reached out to some 250,000. We sent 250,000 texts leading up to the last election. You know, I'm personally doing a little fundraiser here, a little phone bank there. Like, we need more people to do that. I would say you'd be surprised the impact that you can have if you just pull together a few friends. It'll start small and it'll grow. But Congresswoman, what is your pitch? Why should folks vote for you in the new 29th?
I need your help and I need your vote so I can continue to do what I've always done, which is fight for working people, to fight to cut costs, fighting to make sure that our seniors and our veterans have the Medicare, Medicaid, or veterans benefits that they deserve, and to provide access to health care for everyone. You know, the Republicans have tried to kill Obamacare so many times, and they continue to do that. We need to protect Obamacare and grow it, not dismantle it. If we need to dismantle anything, we need to dismantle ICE. And we need to make sure that we stop Trump from his building on his police force that he's trying to build on, and to stop the shootings and the killings that are going on all over our country. So we've got a lot of work to do. So I need your help. I'm battle tested. I was an impeachment manager. I've been fighting Donald Trump for a long time. We need to continue the course and get someone who's battle tested, a fighter, and bring the money home where it needs to be in the communities that really need it.
Absolutely. Tara Taylor says, period. That's like modern slang, Miss Shirley. That's what the new people say. It's like a thumbs up. I took my shades off for you, Congresswoman. I very rarely do this. My eyes are actually sensitive to light. But we have a member of Congress. Miss Shirley, you should have tapped me on the shoulder and been like, take your shades off. This would have been one of the episodes to have the shades off the whole time. But thank you so much for joining me.
It was fun. And I'll be back after the big victory in March.
There you go. And I was for real about this the special guest that you mentioned. Let me tell you something. If you want to see me lose my mind, if you want to see me just have to take a deep breath. Yes, do that. I almost had to do that with you. Thank y'all for joining me on a Saturday. See, I keep looking over there. Y'all can't see it, but there are two screens right there. And I can't stop looking at myself. I'm so handsome in my white sweater. Thank y'all and good night.